Hello. Welcome to special edition Zero Knowledge Audiovisual Club Workshop, Audiovisual Club Foundry Workshop. This is part of the ZK AV Club Foundry program. We are offering 200 euros worth of Zcash to audiovisual content creators to make workshops just like this one. I'm doing this one just because I really want to. It's a topic that's really important to me. And by the way, hi, I'm Ryan Taylor, aka AgiLeak. I created the ZK AV Club, and we have this grant from the Zcash Community Grants Program to produce this monthly live stream series called ZK AV Club Foundry. And part of that is also a community funding option where we've decided to allow for community members in our community, in our audience, to create workshops. So I'm doing this as an example, but also to show folks what the latest and greatest with transcription is, audio transcription, working with video files. So that's a rundown of what's going on. Why you're here is to learn about transcriptions. So we're going to dig in. Transcription is super important. Let's start with this. It's a really important thing in the day and age that we live in, with everyone's uploading videos with all of this audio onto YouTube and everything. We have AI that can work with the text, so that's real nice. But also, like if you're uploading an hour-long video, it's really helpful to the audience to be able to read through the text. I found this has been requested quite a bit. And if you're not a native speaker of the original video and you're like learning the language, like if you're watching this and you're learning English, then having the subtitles on is likely how you're watching it. I think subtitles are really important, and the transcription is the first step in creating subtitles. So we have a lot of different options on how to create transcription, and the recent surge of AI technologies, especially OpenAI Whisper, which we'll get to, this has really driven the transcription quality to another level, like machine transcription. It's important to note a couple of things before we get started. Number one, make sure that you own any content or you have license to any content that you're using with this, especially if you're going to be uploading it anywhere with these cloud-based services. We want to make sure that you own it, that you're licensed to do it. So for the purpose of this workshop, we'll be using the content that was recorded, some interviews that were recorded at the DWeb Coolab Camp in Brazil in 2023. These were shot by ZK AV Club, and they are in 3 different languages. Some are in English. There's one in English, I think. There's a couple in Spanish, and then the majority of them are in Portuguese. So we have a wide variety of different videos to work with here. These are Creative Commons videos. So in the YouTube description, and I have some show notes that I've also linked in the YouTube description. You can find a link there to the Internet Archive where these videos all are. And I'll be working with this DWeb Brazil 2023 O2A and O2B. And the cool thing about Internet Archive is if you want to work with these, if you're watching right now and you want to play along, then you can follow the link, go to this download options over here, and there's H.264, which is all of the MPEG-4 files, and you can find the one that matches to the playlist. There is a mistake here with one of them, but we're going to forget about that and move on. There's also an MPEG-4 option, and here you can download those as well. Similar but different mistake with that same file. I'm learning how to use the Internet Archive. So anyway, you can come in, you can download this file, and then I'll walk you through how you can use Whisper on your local system with that file to create some really awesome transcripts and subtitle files like you see on the left here. So this content is Creative Commons with attribution, share alike. You can download it. You can use it for the purposes of this transcription. I would love it if you would share any transcriptions with me that you make. And it's really important that they're proofread. So that's why we have this open here. And we can, in the Whisper part, I'll show you how we can follow along and make some changes. But I'm really curious if anyone is watching this and has a chance to experiment with the Portuguese, the Brazilian Portuguese, because a lot of these, the majority of these videos are in Portuguese, and I've been told that it's different dialects from around the region. So if you are watching or you watch this after the fact, leave in the comments or put in the chat that you are playing around with the Portuguese language videos, because I would love to get some feedback on that. So the ZK AV Club also why no audio? Rabmar, no audio? Yes, no, yes as in no audio. Return. Okay, so no audio and transmission. Okay, so the audio is cutting in and out. Yeah. I've got it. Gotcha. Okay, sorry about that, folks. The audio is cutting in and out. Yeah, okay. So, Pow1, thank you for letting us know there. Sorry about the little glitches. Maybe we'll clean this up later. But I was talking about ownership. Make sure you own the content before you play with any of this stuff. And also, yeah, I mean, let's just start in. Let's dig into this. So there's two different basic options for working with transcriptions. There's cloud options, cloud services, and then there's local software that you can run on your machine. The main thing at play here is the AI. These learning language models require a lot of RAM in some cases. So if resources on your computer are a limitation, then you're going to want to go with the cloud option. This could change your opinion based on, you might change your opinion based on your upload speed. So if you're going to upload a video to any of these, then think about compressing the video down, because really all you need is the audio. And we'll get to this when we get into Whisper. So few that I looked at, I did some quick research and asked around and found these 8 different options that were mentioned. So we'll move through them kind of real quick. First, we have Nota, and Nota works pretty well. It was easy to use. Here in the notes, like they claim to have accuracy of 98.86%. And they transcribe 1 hour of video in about 5 minutes. So this is just their server resources. And I found that all the ones I tested were fast enough. Of course, on my computer that I was testing with at home, Whisper was fast enough as well, and very accurate. So Nota has a free plan that offers 120 minutes per video per month. This is substantial. And if you're just getting started as a content creator, or if you want to just test these different things, then that's one of the better deals that I found. You can transcribe most videos if they're under 2 hours, and it doesn't have to all be one video. So that's cool. The other free plans didn't necessarily cover as much. Nota includes a lot of cool features like a summary, insight, chat bot. These AI features are like built on top of often OpenAI. They're built into things like Zoom, and you can get meeting transcriptions and summaries. So Nota has it built in. The summary is handy. The insights. The free plan doesn't cover translation. We're not talking about translation today anyway. That's a different workshop. And then there's other things like the ability to hide the timestamps, which if you want to work with the transcript, you might not want the timestamps. And then there's some other things. When I used Nota to download, I went to download this. Here, I'll show you the recording details for a video. This is a ZK Av Club recording station from DAppCon at Blockchain Berlin, Blockchain Week Berlin. And here we have a summary, high-level overview. So basically, I uploaded the video, and then it comes back with all of this stuff, which is cool. That's handy. I like this. We can play back the video, but that's not really why we're here. You can see the transcript on the side here, and double-click the transcript to edit, so you can go through and make changes. That's kind of handy. There's the download button. You can download the video. Let's see, I can download the text file, SRT file. This is mostly what we'll be working with is SRT files. That's a standard subtitle file type. Oh, and there to download, I have to upgrade. So that's a huge bummer. I did make use of this transcript by like copy pasting. So if you do this and you want to work with the content, you can just like highlight everything. Yeah, it's kind of picky. But you can highlight stuff and then copy it over. So clunky unless you pay for something. But featureful. I'm liking the features here. So that is Nota. It's a bit limited, but seems like they're going somewhere with it. Descript is a really popular one, and I really like it. A cool thing Descript can do that it was the first time I heard of this kind of feature. You can actually edit the transcript, and it will cut the video. So let's see. I have projects here, and here's a different one that I did. So opening project. This is Juan Angel. It's a ZK Av Club recording station that we did at Protocolberg, also at Berlin Blockchain Week. Here it gives the transcript on the side. You have a timeline. There is a chat thing going on over here called the Underlord, which is only a little creepy. You get some free credits. It was enough. I got enough free credits to do the whole Anne Brody interview and Juan Angel's interview. So I think it's about an hour, I would guess. Yeah, so they've got this chat bot. This is, like I said, you can like delete stuff and it will actually delete pieces of the video, and then you can export something. So if you wanted to go through, I think one of the neat uses I saw for this, the novel uses that I saw for this, was a keynote speech of a conference. It was ZCon 4, I think. And one of my colleagues, what's up, John, went in, and I think it was this that he used, and he just basically butchered the content down to just like a spoiler. So it was just all of the hot news items. And the keynote speaker, who was Jack Gavigan, what up, Jack? It cut back, so Jack was just saying like, this is what's going on. It was like no nonsense news, and that was kind of cool. So you can do that kind of editing. You can also just like remove ums and uhs and all of this. There is also some of these. I saw the option to actually resync the lips. I think I made a note on which one it was, maybe 11 Labs. And if you change the words in the transcript, it'll change their lips to say the word that you want them to say. Very creepy, but this is happening, so it's worth mentioning. And I think it'll be happening so much that we won't know when it's used or not. YouTube does require you to say when you alter something in that way. but we're just here to talk about transcripts. AI is a major part of it. That's all. So this is Descript. I really like it. It's very powerful. Seems to be kind of the professional choice at the moment. Dictationer, right. Let's see if I check my Descript notes before I get to Dictationer. So free plan offers 1 hour maximum per month, that 1 hour of video. So it's half as much as what Nota gave. You can use both. And if you can copy and paste the transcript out of Nota, you can get 3 hours of video there. If you're making short videos, or if you only want this for your clips, then I highly recommend just trying these free versions, starting with Descript probably. The free plan is a fairly complete set of features. I didn't see any limits there. You can download the transcript. You can copy the transcript. You can also easily export the audio, the transcript, the subtitles, all with the free plan. So definitely, I definitely recommend trying out Descript first if you're going to try any of these. Dictationer had so much potential. Dictationer, I couldn't get the free credits to work. So I signed up for the paid plan because it looked like a really great deal. It looked like you upload your video, gives you a summary, gives you keywords, gives you all this extra stuff that you want in order to publish the video. Unfortunately, it didn't give me any of that. And I gave them $6 and then uploaded a video. It told me to check back later. And as far as I can tell, it just doesn't work. This is what I get. I uploaded the video and you can see the videos here. Is it? Okay, well, apparently you can't seek in the video. The summary and transcription things do nothing. I don't know what it's doing. I tried different browsers, and then I canceled my subscription. So I don't recommend Dictationer at all, but I wish them the best of luck, and maybe we'll get back to it. Unfortunately, the competition in this space is steep. Like Nota looked really nice at first, and you have to pay for extra stuff. There's a lot of like GPUs and things, servers in the background here, so it's not a surprise that these companies would be kind of starting up and not being able to follow through. But 11 Labs has become, so 11 Labs has become one of the main archetypes or architects of this AI in the audio game specifically. 11 Labs was one of the first to start doing the voice duplication and translation with dubbing, which is really, really cool. So I wanted to check out their transcription. And their interface is really slick. I really like the UX. They have this new 3.0 studio. I don't know what any of that is. I didn't have time to look into everything that they do. They have voice changer, sound effects, dubbing, music, text to speech, speech to text, all sorts of stuff. There's productions. So 11 Labs is definitely like pushing the envelope forward. In the speech to text, we have the option to transcribe files. And you can upload a file here. So that's just like the others. There's a 1 GB limit. I think I didn't have enough credits on the free tier to get the transcription to work on the video I was trying to get it to work on. AI transcription, it's ready in seconds. This is the same thing we've been seeing. Human transcription, this is pretty cool. There's an expert review by a native speaker for $2.20 US per minute. This is good to know because like with what we're showing you here, basically like you can do the transcription as a service, proofread it in your native language, and the content creators, like will be willing to pay roughly $2.20 US per minute. That's per minute of video, not per minute of your reading time. So so that's cool. I think that the proofreading is really important. And if you don't speak all the languages, then maybe it's worth paying for. If it's worth paying a company for, then I'd say it's worth paying a friend for. So something to consider. Primary language and include subtitles. I'm going to try something. Let's go to the desktop. I have a video here from the DWeb collection that we're using, and it's 52 megabytes. It's the second part of this interview. So this one that we're looking at right here is the DWeb Brazil 2023-02A. It's the first half of this interview with Matt. It's a great interview. I'm really excited to be working with it, and hopefully we'll release it on YouTube soon as part of the recording station release stuff that we're doing right now. We're starting to release 2 videos per week. So all this transcription stuff is really helpful there. Going back to 11 Labs, we have the video there. It's 9 minutes long. Cool. We're going to upload it. Include subtitles. Best for adding subtitles to a video. When enabled, the project will initialize with subtitles. You can alter them. Subtitles can also be generated at any time within the editor. Okay, we're not really going for subtitles. We're going for transcripts. Really, the only difference there is timestamps. But if you have a nice, solid transcript to work from, then my belief is that you can you can do a lot of stuff with it. First of all, you can paste it into like different chat bots and have it give you different information, like a description for the YouTube video, tags for the YouTube video, topic summaries. You can have it write a blog post about the discussion. So all of this stuff is a good reason to have the transcript versus having subtitles. And then my thinking was that we could actually give the audio plus the transcript to an AI, and then it would put in timestamps where we wanted the subtitles to show and to change. That hasn't really panned out the way that I was expecting. So my new suggestion might be do transcripts and subtitles at the same time. Unfortunately, if you're doing video editing, you can have the transcript of the recording, and it might not be useful as a subtitle source for the end once it's edited, because the timestamps are going to change and everything. So there might be some like double work, but if you're paying for credits, then that's not really ideal. That was fast. Like, that uploaded, it was a small file. The transcription happened while I was rambling. And here we see, like, I really like the layout. The interface for 11 Labs is really slick. It works for me. This is kind of crazy how big these text blocks are. It's a lot. And I guess, oh, this is interesting. It actually shows, whoops. They highlight the words as they're being said. You probably can't hear this, but Matt just got distracted by birds, I think. That's neat. It'd be cool if the subtitle file actually did that. But in the meantime, when you're proofreading, this is handy. So yeah, +1 on the interface. And then you can export it as a text file, as a PDF, doc, JSON, HTML, SRT, and VTT. These are your 2 subtitle files. And there's a little asterisk next to it. What happens? Okay, cool. Max characters per line. This is an important detail for like readability for subtitles. Super helpful. Max lines per queue. And max seconds per queue. The queue is the distance between the time between when the text actually changes. So these are some statistics, some preferences that will come up again throughout where you're working on subtitle files. But for transcripts, not so important. But yeah, you get some options here, and then initialize its subtitle to best satisfy rules. Sure. We'll follow some rules because I like your interface, 11 Labs. You're doing good. So yeah, so you can see it broke them up into some pretty cool chunks. These are totally readable. So that's neat. It has Q numbers here, 42, 42, 8 out of 42. Those are how many characters. So this is line length. And yeah, this is handy. And then English language over here. And then, yeah, you can export it. So 11 Labs is awesome. Again, I'm just using the free one there. You can go look at the pricing. The free includes 10,000 credits, which I think is like 10 minutes or something. I hate that they do these credits instead of just telling you directly. The other cool thing, yeah, 11 Labs really won me over with this human proofreading option, and the fact that they give us a price tag to put on this sort of thing, because this is a service that humans can offer, which is nice, and we can pay humans to do that. Some folks can. So 11 Lab is definitely like up there with along with Dictationer, Descript. Sorry, not Dictationer, Descript. So other options that came up while I was doing my research that I didn't have a chance to get to. I did think to check ChatGPT before taking this too far, and it says this environment doesn't have offline speech to text libraries / models available, and there's an audio API for developers. That was kind of disappointing because ChatGPT does let you upload audio files, and OpenAI's Whisper is what almost everyone is using on the back end. I can't say about like for sure what these cloud services that I have checked are using, but I would, from the research that I did, it seems like Whisper is really where it's at right now. The other one is Vosk, which we will get to, and I'm pretty sure everything is using one of these two on the back end for transcription. So OpenAI can't do it out of the box. You have to, or ChatGPT can't. You have to do other stuff. So Happy Scribe is one of the ones I didn't have a chance to take a look at. This is one that colleague ZK Squirrel found out. He uses it all the time. And yeah, it has audio to text, audio translator. The translators on these, it's a whole different topic. It's a whole different workshop. So I don't really want to get too into it because you can take the transcript and then put it into another language with all sorts of other tools, either line by line, or some of these same tools will do it for you as well in one move. For me, having a transcript that you know is right in the native language and then being able to take that and put it somewhere, that's really, really helpful to not just to publish, but to actually like translate from a proofread transcription. So yeah, happyscribe.com is another option that was recommended. And then otter.ai. This is one of the first ones that I heard about. I think it's mostly used for in meetings, interviews, stuff like this. So it's built into the back end of some of these calling apps, I believe. It does real-time transcription, which is a handy thing to have. Real-time transcription and real-time translation is super helpful. So Otter is another one to look into. The third one that came across my screen in the last like 3 weeks is this TurboScribe. I heard that it's really accurate. It seems to be slick, easy to use. Here they say 99.8% accuracy, which is higher than what Noto was claiming. It has these different languages. Again, like we're working with content in different languages in the DWeb archive and the DWeb Brazil archive. So I'm only working with the English ones, but we're going to try out some of the Spanish and maybe one of the Portuguese videos as well. So this big Google sign right here makes me think that they're using Google Translate, and I am not a fan of Google Translate. It's never impressed me, and compared to some of these other tools, I wouldn't recommend it. And I'm guessing that the transcription is, I'm not guessing, the transcription that Google Translate does is also not great historically. So yeah, anyway, TurboScribe is another option you can look at. A link to this file is in the YouTube description. So check that out, and you can get to the links and try these different online options. And then we'll get to the local stuff, because the local stuff is really cool. We have like, what, 30 minutes or so left. Rabmar asked in the chat, which tool can I edit SRT without changing timestamps? I just edit SRT files with a text editor. So I use Sublime Text. It's really handy. But any text editor can open a SRT file. You'll see when I get to the Whisper side of it, which is really soon, you'll see what the subtitle files look like and like the differences between SRT files and these VTT files. So before we get to Whisper, there's Kdenlive and other video editing software that you can use to do this. Kdenlive, here's a link to some docs on how to set up the speech to text filters. They're plugins, and they give you the option between Vosk and Whisper, and you have to install those on your system inside of Kdenlive for them to work. It was a little clunky. If you're not super technical, then you might want to hold off on going that route. And like, I'm recommending this. Hold on one second. I've got, so I'm recommending Kdenlive because like it's open source software. It's open source and free. So you can use it to do Vosk and Whisper and get some transcriptions and some subtitles, but it's not necessarily super easy. If you want to use video editing software to do this, and you don't want to spend money on Adobe Premiere, then I would recommend going with DaVinci Resolve. We have a review from Zero Darts that said it's very easy. Clicking a few buttons and waiting, then clicking export. Only the paid version, which I looked up, is it's $295. So it's not an annual payment. I'll give you that, but it's also not free. So yeah, Kdenlive, you can get it to work. You're gonna have to put a day into it, and you can find some help online in getting one of these two plugins to work, either Whisper or Vosk. Vosk is cool. Vosk is open source speech recognition toolkit. It's mostly for developers. I did install it, and I ran into some technical limitations of my own, and it seems like their documentation is mostly geared towards developers that are building something. You're building a tool and you want the speech recognition in your tool, then Vosk is something you can go with. Like Kdenlive, if you're setting up Kdenlive speech recognition, Vosk is an option, and Kdenlive handles all of the complicated stuff that I couldn't figure out. But I wanted to mention that Vosk is out there, and maybe someone gets really into it. They do say here, provides streaming API for the best user experience. Unlike popular speech recognition Python packages, I believe they are talking about Whisper here, and there's no streaming API. So if you're running Whisper on your local machine, then it might take a while if you want to use the bigger models. So let's see, Robmar very easily, unfortunately, as Google Translator. Yeah, right. So yeah, Google Translator is not the best way to go with this stuff. All the cloud options are great. The cloud options are really, really cool, but I'm personally a fan of running things on my local machine without an internet connection, kind of local first. But now we have AI, right? Like, this does raise concerns for a lot of people. This raises concerns with, like, some people don't want their videos to even go through OpenAI stuff. It might be training some sort of hive mind back home. We don't know exactly what it's doing. The Whisper is open source. Something tells me there's pieces of it that are not. But that might just be paranoia, because like here you're able to install it on your computer. They say right away, like, do not run this outside of a virtual machine. You just can't. So Like in Linux, which is what I'm running, I had to set up virtual environment, and then you can run Whisper on the command line. So this is the big fancy approach to what Whisper is doing. That is machine learning, English transcription, any to English speech translation. So you can translate in one command. You can transcribe from non-English video and get English translation back, which is pretty neat. Like if you have a video that you really want to watch, some kind of research video, then it's not a language that you understand. You can put it through this command and get back the English. Non-English transcription also works, but translation to another language, I don't believe is a part of the package. So that's the fancy layout, and then how you install it and set it up. This I'm running Linux, so it uses Python to install Whisper, and I didn't have to go through all these. And it's really simple. So I'll show you. And here we have like the models. So if you run the tiny model, it's gonna be fast. It might be more inaccurate. Requires 1 GB of VRAM. Large gets up to 10 gigabytes, and large kind of goes in real time. So something to consider. Performance varies widely. This is the accuracy. The longer bars are worse, more errors basically. And you can see up here at the top, we've got like Spanish is at the top of both of these. Portuguese is pretty high, English as well. So the languages that we are working with in the DWeb collection, they should be pretty accurate. With the exception of like the Portuguese, I'm really curious as far as like the dialects go. So I want to start working with some of our colleagues in Brazil and get these files transcribed and see how it works, see how accurate it is. So command line here, I can show you the command line here. This was an output that I did of the first part of that interview with Matt. And it's this file format is VTT. So let's see, where did it? I had the different file formats for subtitle files. Now here they are. Output formats. You can choose your model. This is basically the Whisper command. You give it an MP3 file, which is an audio file. We'll get to this conversion of video to audio in a second. But you give it an audio file, and then you can tell it the language that you're using, which model you want to use, and how to output it. So the models range from tiny to large. There's also turbo, which seems to be some kind of balanced version that's like way faster and accurate enough in most cases. That's mentioned here in the GitHub of Whisper. Then the output formats. You have a text file, which is plain transcript. This has timestamps in it anyway, but it's just a TXT file. Your SRT file is your standard subtitles. VTT is a web video track, and then you can get it as JSON as well. There's some other options that we'll talk about in a second. So the file that I ran through it is this DWeb Brazil 2023 _02A. It's the first part of that interview with Matt. And the command is just whisper space MP3. The language is English. Model is large, and output format is VTT. Prior to that, I did the SRT, and before that, I did a TXT. And we can see these three files here. Here's the SRT, and it has a queue number. It has timestamps for when to show this text, and then which text to show during that queue. The VTT is the same thing. There's just this little header here. There's no queue number, and you have exactly the same timestamps. The length of these can also be set, but I'm just running with the defaults here. And then the txt file. Oh, there's no timestamps. Okay. So if you just do text, there's no timestamps. And then if you do SRT or VTT, you get timestamps. Headers are different. So make sure the platform that you're uploading subtitle files to accept and work with the type of file that you give it. Very important. And I'll show you how we can add the subtitles for the second half of this interview. So I think that, I don't have this as audio. So we're going to start working with this. And the first thing that any of these transcription with Whisper tutorials will tell you is that you have to extract the audio from the video using FFmpeg. FFmpeg is a requirement for installing Whisper. FFmpeg is a requirement for using your computer, basically. You might not know it, but anytime you upload a video to the web, it's using FFmpeg, the server. It's going to use FFmpeg. It's going to recompress your video in a bunch of different ways and then make it available in different formats, different resolutions, different qualities for people to stream and not have packet loss. So FFmpeg can do all kinds of crazy video and audio transcoding. And VLC can too, because VLC runs FFmpeg basically in the back. So what we can do to get audio out is we just go convert save under the media tab. So like in VLC, you go to media, convert save, and then add a file here. And we're going to add the second part of this video there. And then convert save, just click that. We're going to put it on my desktop, and I want an MP3. We're going to put it back on the desktop as an MP3 with the same file name. File naming is important here. So like make sure all your files have the same name and just different extensions, because if it affects how the subtitle file works in the end. Extracting audio from the video. Done. And so now on the desktop is, I'm going to minimize some things here. On the desktop is a audio file that I can move into the folder where I'm running Whisper. Just copy it there. And then I can come in here and I'm going to change this to B, and we'll do it as a VTT because I want to show something here. So I just hit enter, and now Whisper is going to, hopefully, yeah, there it goes. It's taking a look at the audio file, and it's going to start producing the text any second now. There it goes. So this is the second part of the interview. It's taking its sweet time. So here Matt is saying he's part of an open source project. He's talking about Samfera. I'm not familiar with this. It's a collaboration between largely the libraries that, yeah, I can't read that fast. So yeah, what it's doing here is it's outputting. It's listening to the audio, basically, and outputting the text into this VTT file. And then I can show you what that file looks like and what we can do with it. It will take a while. I am using the large model, so we're going to actually see how long it's going to take. It's using my GPU, and it's using my GPU, and I'm also using that for this for the workshop. So it could be slowing it down a little bit. If I would have switched it to turbo, then, well, we're going to do that afterwards, actually. I'm going to switch the model. After this is done, we'll switch the model over to turbo. We'll change it to an SRT. There's no difference in how long it takes to do this between SRT and VTT. These two file types are only for whatever you want as your final output. And the reason we're doing this is to get subtitle files on these videos. That's the reason that we're doing this for the workshop. Probably should have said that at the very beginning. So these videos, there's a ton of them. Like we have 27 different recordings in here. Some of them are second parts to the beginning. So there's 3A, there's 4A, 4B, 6A, 6B. So some of them are split into two. Most of them are in Portuguese. This one, the first part of this interview with Matt, is the only one that has subtitles, because I did that earlier today. So it worked really well. It picked up most of what he was saying accurately. I think one time I saw that it was saying the web instead of DWeb. All the other instances got that he was saying DWeb, so that's pretty cool. It doesn't do a lot of the uppercase and special like punctuation that you could come up with, but it's not really necessary for subtitles. So it's really cool the way that this worked, I think. And Internet Archive, you just upload the file, the subtitle file, or with YouTube, you can attach it. It's all the same as long as the timestamps match. So this video that we're running right now is 9 minutes long. And here it's 3.5 minutes done. So it's going to be a little while. So we'll, like, there's Whisper. This is what's being run now. I did look for some other options, not options, alternatives to Whisper, but some of the options within Whisper. And it's pretty cool. So like here, the model size can be specified using the model flag. We talked about that. We have tiny, base, small, large, and turbo. So faster, less accurate, more accurate, but also slower. If you're running on a machine that doesn't have a lot of resources, you might want to go with the smaller versions, or just give it more time. You know, start it before going to bed or something. To transcribe speech in the same language as the input, use a transcribe flag. This is the default. You can translate it to English with the translate flag. We might try that actually on one of those on a different workshop, I think. So the output can be generated in different formats. We talked about this. You have your text file. We have the VTT, SRT. You can put it in a tab separated values, or JSON, or you can say all and it'll generate all of the outputs. Also handy if you know that it's going to be accurate. If you have to go through and change something in all of them, especially special like certain names, products, projects, these sorts of things, they tend to get they tend to get messed up in transcriptions. So let's see here. Where are we? The outputs, the language detection can be enabled automatically by not specifying a language. So it checks the first 30 seconds and then figures out what language it is, and we'll start the generation beyond that. That's probably why it took a bit when we first started. Hey, look, it's already almost 2/3 done. So for best results, you can use the automatic detection. You can set a language flag. Setting the language flag will get it started faster. And it might make a mistake when it's guessing the language. I'm curious about that. Additional parameters, you have max line width, max line count, and word timestamps flag. You have to enable the word timestamps, and then max line width and max line count. This is what we saw in 11 Labs, I think, when we were generating this subtitle file. Max characters per line, max lines per queue, seconds per queue. I like this interface. This is cool. There are some graphic interfaces for Whisper available for Mac and Windows. And I think I read about something that was a web interface for it too, which if we don't have that yet, then it's definitely coming, because if I can run Whisper on my computer and I could get a web interface like 11 Labs, like I would be happy. That would be pretty neat, and it's happening. So that's what these are, the max line stuff, the max line count to control the line length and the number of lines per time segment. So if you generate your subtitle file and you see that there's some really long lines like these here, capitalist hierarchy that asks, how are you going to make money after this? From how are you going to pay and the bills and all of this stuff. So anyway, these subtitles can fill a screen sometimes. So you might want it to say like capitalist hierarchy and, you know, one word at a time or something. That's where you can change these. So you can change these settings with these extra parameters. And then to reduce false transcription of non-speech segments, the no-speech threshold can be adjusted. And this is for when there's no one talking or you have someone in the background talking, like an interviewer, and you don't necessarily want them in the transcript. You can change these settings. So that's all as like built into Whisper. We can scroll up and see my command here, Whisper plus audio file, language, English. Oh, it just takes a while to start, even if you put that in, which model I did, and then the format. So I'm just kind of hoping the defaults are going to be good enough for the length and stuff. Seems to have stalled right around 2/3. It'll keep going. So then there's these other options like speech pulse and buzz. These are exciting, but they're Windows and Mac only. So I didn't have a chance to test them. And they run Whisper on the back end and on your local machine. And they give you a front-end app to work with. So I think there's a buy button. I'm curious about this stuff. If you use them, let me know. Put something in the comments. Put something in the chat. It'd be swell to know how well these work. Buzz is the other one. Transcribes and translates audio offline on your personal computer, powered by OpenAI's Whisper. This is open source. It's on GitHub, and it's in the Mac store. Better to get it in the Mac store, they say. This Mac, Windows. Oh, they do have Linux down here now. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to give that a shot. When I was checking it a couple weeks ago, I did not see this. So that's fantastic. I'm going to go back to the notes here and change this. All right, so Buzz might be a good option for what I was talking about with getting a front end, getting some kind of graphic user interface together with Whisper or over Whisper instead of doing it in the command line. Command lines can be scary. They don't have to be. It's really, in this case, is pretty simple, except for the virtual environment part. If you're new to a command line and you have to set up a virtual environment, you might want to ask for some help. AI, like hopefully it can give you good instructions on how to do that. I asked Brave for the Whisper Linux virtual environment setup, and it gave me good instructions. I know how to read this stuff, so that I actually have confidence when I'm pasting things in the command line or whatever. You shouldn't paste anything into the command line unless you are confident that you know what it's actually saying and telling your computer to do. This is why, someone mentioned to me that they didn't want to install anything by OpenAI on their computer at home, and I hadn't really considered it, but it can be creepy. You're installing an AI on your computer, which is probably the first time that's happened to you. So unless you're watching this in the future, in which case, like, awesome, way to go, you're doing great, and keep doing future stuff. But if you're watching it now, then this is probably the first time you're installing AI on your computer, and it can be a little scary. So go with Chidi Williams here with Buzz, or go with one of the cloud platforms if you're uncomfortable with this. If you're wanting to put on your experimentation hat, then I say go for it, because this is really cool. Whisper worked really well with with the command line once it's set up and you're good to go. And I like the options that they have. There are other things like Whisper or in connection to Whisper. There's faster Whisper command line that comes with a bunch of different options. Not all of these were options to on Whisper. So faster Whisper might be something to look into for further research. There's also Whisper Real Time, which will do live real-time transcription and translation. So what we've actually demoed with ZK AV Club before is live translation of like live streams or of presentations, like live and in the room. It's really cool stuff. And that's using Whisper and Whisper Real Time. And then there's faster Whisper. So some things to look into if you wanted to take this further and do your own research. Yeah, so that's Whisper. And we mentioned DaVinci Resolve. You can also use Premiere and Kdenlive, the video editing softwares that I would recommend. I don't recommend CapCut anymore. It did a really great job at transcription, but then they started charging for all the features, and then they started like taking ownership of anything that you edit with the software. So I do not recommend using CapCut for any of this. My recommendation would be going Whisper Local or Descript or 11 Labs. If you want to try out something that I didn't talk about, then HappyScribe or Otter. I'm real curious how they work, how it goes for you. And our video is almost done here. We're at the 9-minute mark. So it is taking a while. The large model is definitely taking a while, but like it's pretty cool. I can look in here and here they collaborating with DAT, like they're capitalizing DAT, which is a really cool decentralized protocol, networking protocol that similar to IPFS. They also capitalize IPFS here. They get that right. It was like a manifesto about where chickens and battery cages, and we need to operate outside this. And so that led to conversations, and I joined IPFS. So yeah, I think this is pretty accurate just looking at it coming up here. And we will wrap up the workshop with showing how to apply this to the Internet Archive video. Checking the chat. Ramar says, which tool can I edit SRTs with? We got to that. Just use a text editor like Sublime Text here. With Adobe Premiere, it's really easy. Unfortunately, it's Google Translator. So that's not great. DaVinci Resolve, like I wish it was open source. They have the free option. The paid option apparently does a really good job. Can transcripts be extracted from VLC? No, it's great for subtitles. So the way, okay, our video is done here. Our transcript is done. So the way that subtitle files work with VLC and with VLC and with Internet Archive, it's the same way. It's kind of typical for how you can assign subtitle files to video files. So like if you have a USB port in the back of your TV and you can put video files on the USB and then plug it into your computer or into the TV, then you can give it a subtitle file. If the subtitle file has the same name, the same exact name as the video file, then the application is going to pull it up. So if you have VLC and you have a video file and you have a subtitle file in the same folder as the video file and they have the same name, then it's going to pull that up for you. So the Web VTT. This is the second interview with Matt. I'm going to go back to here. This is for this file. And what I'm going to do is just go edit, change files, add a file. I'm going to drag this onto there. It has the same file name as the second one. It's tiny, and it has the VTT header, which is important. So we're just going to upload that. It's a short video, so that helps it being small. but text is small anyway. And this will process real quick. And now for proofreading these, because proofreading is very important. If you're going to be posting the subtitle file on like YouTube, you're going to want to make sure names are spelled correctly, proper nouns, names of projects, sponsors, this sort of thing. So you can load it up in VLC. That's one thing I would recommend doing. You can load the video in VLC, open the subtitle file that you're working on also in VLC, and then you just watch it. Let's see if this worked. It shouldn't take long. The other one worked. So the other one I did was an SRT. Oh, there we go. Now it's back. No. Subrip web video text tracks. So it knows that that's correct. It matches. But it's still not working and it's not showing there. So what I'm going to do, we're going to try this, and I'm going to change the model to turbo, and I'll show you all how to do a quick proofreading, and we'll change this to SRT. Same file, same location. Not exporting the actual text in the terminal. Interesting. It's like ingesting the, what's 1.51 gigabytes? The audio isn't that. Oh, that must be the memory. So the way that the proofreading would go, so this file is the one that I uploaded. And here we can see, you probably can't hear that, but that's weird. The subtitles stopped working for this one now. Oh, there's, it probably was working on that. So there we go. So you can watch the video for anything that's wrong, follow along here in the file. If this is VLC, then you can make the changes, save it, and actually see them take place. And you just follow along. YouTube launched, and it was really amazing. So now I'm curious. 2B. So there it goes. This is the first file that we that I generated, the VTT file. It's working now. So that's pretty cool. Like the length of it looks right. It needs to be proofread. I put it on Internet Archive and it needs to be proofread, which isn't great. I'd recommend proofreading it first. But here we have the turbo one just finished. That was super fast. But it looks much, much different. Yeah. See, it's doing this weird stuff. I'm not sure how I feel about turbo because you can just see the difference here right at the beginning. So that's how I got to work with that. And then like, here's the interviewer who was behind camera was speaking. So that they probably weren't saying actually this, are we done? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. And then down here, it comes in as like, there's nothing about dat there. And so on the SAM and so on, like this is the main difference between models and why, like, if you're using Whisper, I would say like, take the time, use the large model. It'll pay off. Definitely worth it. So I don't even need to upload this SRT that I just generated with Turbo. because our VTT file worked. And now both of Matt's videos have subtitles, which is cool. So I want to go through some of these other videos some other time and get the Spanish and Portuguese subtitles in, get those transcriptions done. And this is a process that we're using on all of our recording station videos because you can take the transcript, you can put it into like OpenAI or some other chat bot, whatever you want to use, Grok or whatever, and it'll give you descriptions that you can then post on YouTube, metadata. Again, you're going to want to proofread all of this stuff, but it's a lot faster to proofread all of it than to create it yourself. And you can come up with some pretty great content. So Ramar asking more questions. Is it possible to edit the metadata of VTT files? Yeah, the VTT file is just a text file. Any of these you can edit in your text editor, the SRT or the VTT. You can change the time stamps. It's going to be easier in the VTT, I think. It's about the same, like pretty much the same format. There's a comma instead of the VTT as a point, and like milliseconds. Yeah, must be. No, I don't know what that is. Those are milliseconds, I suppose. And splitting those and changing them, you're gonna have a better time by putting in the these flags that we talked about, like the things that the 11 Labs gives. These max characters per line and max lines per queue. These settings, and then Whisper has similar settings. I lost that tab, but you're going to want to do that instead of manually changing any of these timestamps. I think it's just much faster. So that's Whisper. We went through a whole bunch of different options. Quick recap: there was Nota, Descript, Dictationer, which I'm not happy with. 11 Labs, and Descript are kind of the ones that I would recommend first and foremost from personal use. And then like Happy Scribe, Otter, and TurboScribe all came in as recommendations. So maybe worth checking out. Then if you want to do it locally, you can do it with video editing software, Kdenlive, DaVinci Resolve, or Adobe Premiere. If you are a developer, you can check out Vosk. And what I would recommend doing is using Whisper to create these text files and just do it all on your own computer. So that's it. That's transcription. I hope that you maybe learned something or you're inspired to go do some research on your own. If you want to participate in the ZK Av Club Foundry Workshops program, you can lead a workshop. You can lead a workshop just like I did just now, or you can dive into any of these. You can do a whole workshop just on Whisper. You could do a whole workshop on the translation part of it. So whatever works for you. I'd really love to see workshops using the content that we're making in the recording stations. So if you want to lead a workshop and you don't have content for your transcription, then check out our repos, come join us, and you can play with all of that. So thanks everyone for joining, and watch the ZK Av Club on YouTube, ZKAV_club on X. We're also on Blue Sky. We're going to be releasing a lot of content from these recording stations. So if you're into open source and decentralized technologies and content creation, then there's something for you in there. So follow us, subscribe, hit like, do all that good stuff, and have a good day, everyone. Bye.